Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Venkatesh. This video is going to be a little similar to the previous video that I had uploaded in the just commentary playlist. This video is going to address one very common question that students have been asking me. Does it matter if you choose a particular institution to pursue your bachelor's degree or master's degree for that matter? Now, in general, there are so many sub questions that students as well as parents ask. Is the education affordable? That's the first question. Then after that, what is the value in the job market after completing a course from here? And how are the placements? Will I make friends? How are the teachers? How is the infrastructure? So many questions will be running in your mind. But you have to focus on one major factor. That is, you are going for higher education. After your 12th standard, you're going to go for a bachelor's degree, or after your bachelor's, you're going to go for a master's degree. So it all depends upon what is your end goal through this education. And I would just like to address a few common questions regarding this. Now, firstly, something that parents have been asking me is, does it really matter if you put your child in an expensive institution, a moderate institution, or a government college? And the best answer to this is, it doesn't matter. I know this is going to sound really controversial when I say it doesn't matter, but when I say it doesn't matter, what I'm trying to point out here is, ultimately, at the end of 5 years, they're only going to look at what degree you have rather than which institution you're out of. What kind of an institution you're an alumna of, that doesn't matter to them. It only matters that you have a college degree with you to get a job. All right. So when that question comes up as to, does it matter what kind of institution that I choose to study in? Well, you may have some institutions in your mind that you'd like to join, preferably with a very good percentage, such as having a cutoff of over 95%, 90%, 85%, 80%. So you will have something in your mind that when I get this percentage, I have to go to this institution only, because you believe that there the faculties are going to be amazing and the placements are going to be great and the infrastructure is going to be really good, which will assist you in your college education. Yes, these are all important factors. Absolutely. I'm not denying that these are important factors. What I'm trying to say is, that's not why you join an educational institution. You join to get knowledge. You join to have a degree with you that is going to keep you skill ready for a job. So when you look at it, all these institutions which promise you placements and which promise you, let us say, foreign trips, I don't know why that's a craze right now, and so many other factors which are financial in nature. Should you fall for these? As a teacher, I would just say, see, it's your wish. Wherever you join, ultimately, this is going to be my point. If you get a degree, you need to have skills with you that's going to ensure that you have a job at the end of your academic pursuit. All right. So you can't just join a college degree and expect to get placements automatically. This is something that students have a misconception of. If you have to get a job, it does not matter how much you studied in the college. It's all about how much skills you have developed in order to get a job. All right. So you have to understand what are the industry requirements before you join a college. And now I'm not going to be speaking about science or art students, because unfortunately I am not an expert in either of these streams. So I have nothing to comment about these. But for commerce and management, especially when it comes to Bachelor of Commerce or Bachelor of Business Administration, these are the two common degrees that students would choose after their second pre-university examinations or 12th standard examinations. And I would just like to say it's not very confusing as long as the point in your mind is the same. Why would you go for a Bachelor of Commerce? Probably you're interested in doing Master of Commerce, or probably you're interested in going for a bank job. You're probably interested in going for something that's related to the financial sector, so on and so forth. Why would you go for a business administration bachelor's? You would go to become a businessman. You would want to understand how the business operates. You would want to specialize in understanding how you can administer your business activities. You can develop that, people call it persona, but I would just say you can develop the level of confidence that you want to be an independent businessman, to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to choose a bachelor in business administration. Of course, bachelors do have a restriction. You need to have a master's if you want to be called an expert to a certain extent. A bachelor's is just basically going to highlight the basic subject factors that you need to study. Now comes the most important factor that people have been asking. Institutions that promise you placements, are they real? No. No institution can promise you placement, because if they are promising you placements, you are fooling yourself. You can get a job only if you are job ready. That is, you as an individual, when you have the skill set, that is when you're ready to go for a job. You can't just depend on joining a college and expecting to get a job. Of course, some colleges do promise you that industry an Academia Connect, wherein they are going to give you some specific set of skills and certifications that will ensure you get into a job. But at the end of the day, you can't just pay money to an institution and expect to get the results just because you've paid to them. It's all about your efforts at the end of the day. As a student, since you are getting educated here, you need to act like you're an educated person. Why even act? Be an educated person. If you're going to pay so much of money to an institution, you have to get the best out of them. And what is the best that you can get out of them? It's placement. Nothing beats placement. Some of these students may have a controversial opinion stating that I go to an institution because my friend has gone there, or I go to an institution because one of my neighbors recommended it. I'm going to an institution because my cousin studied there, or my own siblings studied there, or my parents have studied there. This is not a good opinion. This is not how you're supposed to proceed. You need to form an educated opinion, which means to say you need to analyze what are the best institutions out there and select the one that is coming to my first point of choosing an academic institution: affordability. You cannot just choose an institution because they charge hefty fees. And you cannot choose an institution just because they charge low fees. You have to choose an institution based on what are they offering. You see, every single college or institution is going to have a unique selling proposition, which is nothing but something that they are unique about, something that really keeps them apart from the rest of the institutions, which is really special. And generally it is placement. So a lot of institutions promote their placement in order to get admissions. So if you're going to look at placements, you can choose those institutions which have amazing placements and you can go ahead with it. But remember, if you are a student opting a college only for placement, you have to be skill ready. You cannot depend completely on the institution. You need to start working on your own, which means to say you have to go to a college that is okay with allowing you to have part-time job or internships. This is very important because you can't just sit in a classroom for 3 years and then suddenly expect to be job ready, because that's not how it works. You need to apply what you study in the classroom, meaning whatever the professor is teaching to you in the classroom or whatever the professor is discussing with you in the classroom. Are you able to apply the same in a job? How do you know this? You will know this only when you start working. So internship plays a very vital role in trying to put that skill into usage. And that way you'll understand whether or not whatever subject you're studying is relevant to you. Of course, for a commerce student or for a business administration student, there are several internships out there that will give you plenty of opportunities to explore. So you have to identify those colleges or universities which are okay with sending you for internships, because you really need it. And then after 3 years, you expect to get a very good job. That doesn't happen. Probably in the movies, they show it in such a way because the actor and the actresses are really good looking. But in the real life, looks don't matter. They're only going to look at the skills that you have. What are the various technical skills, the soft skills, your management skills that you're going to develop. That's why job experience is very important. And I know that many of the what do you say? Even in campus placement, they ask, do you have any prior job experience? And you can say yes if you have a good internship with you, or if you have done several internships, which will add to your brand value. You're understanding, right? So when you're going to choose a college, if you're going to go by placements, you have to ensure that the institution gives you permission to take up internships. This is the first important point that you have to remember. Now, apart from placements, there is another big question that students and parents have been asking. Should I put my child or should I join an institution depending on what fees they're charging? Well, absolutely yes. Depending on your financial strength, you have to choose that institution which you can afford. Now, it's not like every single student has merit, which means to say it's not like every single student has a very high percentage. There are average students, there are less than average students who still want to pursue higher education. And they also want to have a college degree with them because they want to have the knowledge, they want to have the educational pursuit. So should they choose an institution on the basis of affordability? Absolutely yes. Because affordability is basically speaking about what is your financial strength and how much you can reach out to further your education. If you can get scholarships through merit, then you're amazing. But if you can't, that doesn't mean you still cannot approach various other institutions which charge affordable fees to give you the same knowledge that you will study anywhere else. What I mean to say is every single institution is going to offer the same basic set of knowledge. You're getting me, right? So when you have the same basic set of knowledge, you are already grasping on something that's better than what you have studied. But probably you may not find the same kind of opportunities like a very high-end institution or like anything that's very specializing. But that's okay, because what you want at the end of the day or at the end of the academic pursuit of your life is to have a degree with you, or a master's degree with you, which you could afford easily. So it's actually fine. The question of affordability should be on your mind only if you're targeting for an institution where the merit is too high and you do not have the same to reach it, and you have some financial constraints. You do not wish to pressurize yourself on those financial constraints. And this is a very common question that students and parents have been asking. Should I go join, or should I put my child in an institution where their friends or their cousins or their parents or anyone they know has studied? Well, it's your freedom. It's a free country after all. You can choose whichever institution you like, but don't have any expectations just because your friends have joined there. Friendship doesn't last for a very long time. I mean, it's a hit or miss. You will never actually have a lot of friends once you complete degree, because in your professional life you are not going to make friends, you're going to make colleagues, you're going to meet peers, you're going to meet a lot of people who are professionally better than you, and you cannot compete with your friend because then it hurts your friendship. So just because you join an institution where your friend has joined, you can't expect to have the same kind of relationship that you previously had, simply because, let's face it, you will have different interests. Your friend will want to go for a different job, you will want to go for a different job, and that's one way in which you're anyway going to part. But college friendship is amazing. I mean, there are so many movies and dramas and cartoons and anime that reflect on college life or high school life to such a romanticized extent that you believe that it's true. The reality is very different. So if you're going to choose an institution just because your friends are there, but I mean, you can, if you're a very lonely person and you need someone who's always around with you, who can interact with you, then yes, go ahead. For your emotional well-being, that's absolutely fine. But if you have a lot of ambition, you want to do something that is very different, don't just go to an institution where your friends are, because your friends are definitely going to change after some period of time. They're not going to be with you always. Sorry to just say it directly to the viewers like that, but when you're growing into an adult, your priorities are definitely going to change. So having friendship in your mind to select an educational institution, that's not wise, but that's not wrong either. So that's completely up to your independent choice. So I hope in this particular video, I was able to nominally address a few questions without having any bias, because I didn't discriminate any institution. I didn't say anything bad about anything. I just wanted to give an idea on how to select an institution on the basis of two important things. All right. One is affordability and the second one is placement. So these are the two important things that you have to look for when you're going to join an institution. Beyond this, well, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, you still will have a degree with you if you put your heart and soul into it. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this particular video. There will be more coming up like this in the coming weeks. So hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if you would like to interact with me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And do share this video to anyone who you know who is confused about how to choose an educational institution. Probably they will get, or they may get, some clarity after watching this. So till then, see you. Thank you.